So why am I making this video today? Well, because I felt like it and I can. And more importantly, to take about 10 minutes to discuss and perhaps to clear up some information that I put out there that may have been misinterpreted. Um, for the past year or so, say a little over a year, almost a year and a half, I've been trying to find perhaps my calling in life, my purpose in life. And, maybe I thought it was teaching entrepreneurship, like Dr. Hussein and Dr. Nikolowski and so many other people, and teaching leadership, coaching leadership, like Dr. Lloyd Feldman. Some of these great leaders that I worked for, and I know I want to get out of the restaurant industry. I was a career waiter for Applebee's, and Applebee's corporate trainer elite for a better part of a decade, and I love the brand, and I love hospitality, and there's so much you can do within hospitality. My job was to talk to people. People. If you don't know the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you're not gonna know these two characters from this book or this movie. But you could say I was Bromden, and now I'm McMurphy. If you don't get the reference, don't worry about it. Because you could say my father taught me so many important lessons in life, and one of them was you gotta listen. He trained me like a Pavlov dog, if you will, but in a good way. Because he'd ask me a question, be like something, he'd like, listen, listen, listen. He taught me to understand other people's perspective first and listen before you reply. And my mother always told me I had to take a chill pill. Yeah, I'm bipolar. The older generations are gonna freak out because I said it. Yes, I'm bipolar, but I'm not schizophrenic. My mother was. My mother was severely schizophrenic. I'm not. Otherwise, I would be hearing voices, and I would be talking to voices. Am I talking to myself? No, I'm talking to the camera. Gen Z gets it. Gen Y, like, dude, yeah, you don't bottle up your emotions, and you talk about it. But, people need to talk about mental health. And why am I putting it out there? Because I'm very open about things. You can say I'm an open book, if you will. Yeah, dude, because it's real. Like, I lost some good friends. We all did. If you graduated around the time I did, graduated high school in 2012, ish, give or take 5 years, either way, or even more. Yeah, dude, I'm not going to harm myself. When I talked about, what I'm going to talk about now, getting to the main point of the video. I want to open a funeral home. I want to change the way we do this. And, I used to work for someone who owned a funeral home. They owned a restaurant. I worked in the restaurant. It was just unrelated. But it was related because everything's connected, someone once told me. And I thought about it, dude. He's such a happy guy. It's like, dude, how can you, work in a place like that? I was like, yeah, dude, I don't want to be, I don't want to take care of the morgue side of things, But I can help people grieve for once. I helped my father grieve the loss of his dear wife. My mother passed away August 8th, 2016 at 3:03 a.m. Why do I know this? We'll say 3, because it probably took, it took some time for my father to probably get this text put together. We'll say roughly 3 a.m. It's 3:03 a.m., and yeah, I'm awake. Dude, I'm awake because I knew, one, I work nights. Oh my god, you stay up till 3 and sleep until 11. Yeah, dude, I work nights. It's okay if you're on, 24-hour cycles. If you don't work a 9 to 5, it's fine. You work nights, it's going to be a little different. Before people freak out because I said I was awake at 3 in the morning one day, fucking damn near 10 years ago. Pardon my language. But, what was the point of that? Yeah, dude, my dad texted me. He's like, Aaron, sorry to tell you that your mother peacefully passed away in her sleep. And she was in a hospice. A hospice, in case you don't know, compared to a hospital, is where you go to live out the last moments of your life a little more comfortably. My mother had been battling cancer for a very long time. And yeah, it was 2 weeks. When they told us, coffee at midnight, another video I'm going to make. It's a conversation we had when we first got to the hospice. That's what we're going to talk about. That they told us, your mom has 1 to 2 weeks to live. Your wife has 1 to 2 weeks to live. And again, dude, like, yeah, I didn't like bawl my eyes out when I heard that because she'd been battling schizophrenia and battling cancer for so long. She suffered for so long, dude. I was like, and I feel like, oh my god. I'm like, no, dude, I wish she was alive. Yeah, I wish she was alive and I wish she was suffering immensely. But dude, her time had come at the young age of 60. My father was 69, dude. And like, yeah, it's been like 5 years. It's been a couple years since my father passed, and almost 10 years, like 8.5 years since my mother passed. Dude, I'm very open about it now. Because now I can talk about it, because I went through the grievance. And so I want to change how we do this, dude. I've stood over so many caskets. Yeah, I've done that privately, dude. And like, dude, if someone has to go up there and say what needs to be said, I'm that guy. And dude, I'm like fighting tears. Like, you might not be able to tell, but like, hey, dude, I lost a dear friend like a little over a month ago, dude. And it was one of the toughest ones yet. I mean, respectfully, I mean, nothing's gonna top losing my father, but at the young age of 69, doing barrel rolls in my kitchen. Anyway, why do I want to open a funeral home? Because dude, I've been down this road, dude, and yeah, losing your cat when you're 4, dude, losing your dog when you're 5, and losing another cat when you're like 7 years old. That's when I stepped up, and I went to my parents. I was like, "Yeah, as a 7-year-old or whatever, 8-year-old, whatever, however old I was like, yeah, we're doing it differently this time." It was so sad the way they did it. It was like they just like bring your dog home in a box, and yeah, we buried him in the backyard, dude. And, like, it was a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. And like we basically just stood in silence, and that was it. For me, that's just step one, dude. Like, not even step one. Step one is accepting it before it even happens. A wise man told me that there's only one thing guaranteed in this life, and it's death. Make it sound scary and make it sound dark, but dude, there's two ways to look at everything. You look at it the light way, it's like, that's life. That's the beauty of life, is that one day you're not going to be here. And I'm going to keep this to 10 minutes, or about 7.5. So yeah, I talked about how I wanted to turn my house into a funeral home. Minus the physical side of it, because this gentleman I worked for, his family I worked for, small business. It wasn't just their last name on the funeral home. Perhaps they all have their own role. And dude, I don't want to be a mortician. Oh my god, I have so much respect for the line of work. And like the show Bob's Burgers, there's that mortician that lives next door. But yeah, talking about how I'm gonna do my own funeral post-mortem, because you prepare for these kind of things. My father passed away, we weren't prepared. Dude, I thought I had at least another 10 years of tomorrow. I thought he was gonna live to be like at least 80. But unfortunately he didn't. But you know what? The man died, he passed away happy. Oh, I'm damn near legally blind. I gotta get these freaking glasses on before I step outside. My dad was quote unquote. No, I'm damn near legally blind. And again, I'm starting to ramble. It's fine. Trying to get these thoughts together. So I draft how I'm gonna do my own funeral, dude, post mortem, and it starts with the music, the playlist, YouTube music, my liked songs. It's already over 6 hours. These 500 songs. Another count was like 1,000. So there you go. But there's the playlist. Dude, a funeral. Dude, it's the first start of the celebration of life, and not even the first. Dude, the family has to mourn privately, and like, it takes time, dude. And like, yeah, if you plan on having a casket, beautiful, beautiful. It's a powerful thing, but it kind of puts some pressure on the families to like, we only got so much time to do this funeral, dude. You got like 2 or 3 weeks, but. Maybe, like my parents, dude. My parents, we cremated them. And my brother got them a double urn, dude. Paid good money for it. It's a beautiful thing. So, and we did that because that's what my father wanted. He wanted to be cremated. To respect his wishes. And, we have the ashes. We have the double urn for my parents. We're going to go over 10 minutes. It's fine. We're getting back on the point of my funeral. Yeah, dude, hopefully it's not another 30, at least 30. Live to be 60 like my mother. I live to be 69 like my father. Or, dude, more than that, 80, 100, 120, dude. Advancements of medicine and AI, dude, take care of yourself. And stress is the number one killer. Stress is the number one killer. And we don't know my father's cause of death, just natural causes, dude, and it's probably stress. And yeah, dude, I got the music. Day one, Monday morning, your morning lost, the family's doing it. And you gotta get the information out there, dude. And like the way we do it now is, this woman told me, was like, hey, dude, you're just scrolling through Facebook one day and like you just see like, oh my god. Maybe, and I'm dude, no disrespect to anyone, like respectfully, like we all deal with this in our own ways. And maybe there's a different way we put that alert out there. Because, dude, we live in a world that's both physical and digital. And you're either going to hear about it in person or hear about it online. And, hey, dude, that's why you need to post online. Anything. You think your life's boring and dull, dude? Post your life, post your kids. But, like, I wish I had more pictures of my father for the last 10 years of his life. I don't have as many as I wish I had. That's on me, dude. I was the one with the digital camera, the regular phone, and it's okay. But yes, I am going to, in a sense, direct my own funeral post-mortem to ease the burden on whoever's going to have to do it, whether it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years from now. Well, not 100, I'm not going to live to be 131, but hey, anything's possible, man. Anyway, I got the playlist. You mourn on Monday. Pick a Monday, dude. The family can take all the time they need to mourn privately before announcing this. Because if it weren't for the online world, like, dude, the only people that would know is like people closest. That's fine. Open invitation, dude. Open invitation. And yeah, do the wake. Do the wake in my house. You heard me. The property that's valuable and it's going to be divvied up amongst my loved ones when my time comes, it's going to be written in the will. There's not going to be anything of like real money value just sitting around. Hey, dude, you don't have to invite everybody into the house, dude. The backyard. This backyard, when I bought this house, was a jungle. The weeds were over the fences. Yeah, I got work to do back there, but yeah. Dude, cremate me, spread my ashes in the backyard. My family's last name's on this land. And it's going to be on this land. I bought a historic home that was well kept and well maintained and well upgraded. And yeah, dude, the backyard needs some work. I'm going to get it done. Or not, dude. Either way. And yeah, this land's going to get passed on to someone in my family. So you got the playlist, you got day one. And once the morning's over, dude, throw a party. We got creative space. This business about, half a mile from my house. Like a small gathering, memorial, whatever, dinner, whatever. Then the lakefront park has this place that you can rent out and, dude, throw a banger. Throw a banger. Throw a wild party. There, overlooking the water. Like a mile from my house. Like you would a wedding. Because suffering is the hardest when you feel like you're suffering alone. And I got one more minute because we are going to keep this at 15. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. And, death is hard. Death is hard to talk about. If you make it hard. It takes time. It takes time to mourn. It's been some time. I wasn't so open about my parents passing when it first happened. And that's okay. I don't want you to worry about me. And that's why I need to make sure I'm communicating clearly when I say that I am going to direct my own funeral post-mortem. The hope is it's not 100 years from now. But dude, I started with my own parents. I gave my parents a digital celebration of their life. Because the traditional funeral wasn't in our budget. We needed time to mourn. So take your time. And, maybe one day I'll partner up with some of these funeral homes and be able to do something. I love you. Thank you for listening. Bye.